You have that windows to the black spot. You seen it on the website. The internet, the pollinated what was insubordinate. Ohms and arms that chant the rant the sun. Just the way to the surface of the world. Colonized and the baptized, it is gone. The colony for the gold. Know the orders of the cologne for the despicable, for the despised. Ease the pain for the deceived, the injustice for the not to see us, just to displease, just to please, the peas, just a peasant for the pea inside of urinating you lately. I penetrated the bed for the you can find it for the spreading it for the sandwich. With a condiment for the break over the covenant for the bride and made it off for the feeling more numb now, to find the middle of the daylight. Or higher than that, the firmament for the statue for the law, the sovereign for your martyr. The way that you could be cake for the redundant for the redundant for the stuntman. A lifetime for the stagnant movies to make it moving for the magnet for the magnified itself for the micro radiate for the radiate for the hate to fade the way that you taste for senses to no smell the foresight for the giving your intuition for the tuition for the scene for the seams of the fortified for the fortunately for the leave for the you turn the fort for the Fort Knox for the hard knockers for the stripping of the pose of the Antarctica for the ate up of the architecture over the archives. And it was the Cinemax for the iniquities of the singing of the way to the Samson for the Milky Way for the sing the Honda for the left side of the brain for head the giving over the giant. The migraine for the applying to the metaphor for the leads, the ass, the cash, the ash, apple for the apple pay for the apple, the jeans, for the firmly for the tar for the cross, the T for the source of the tether for the creator for the creature, for the feature for the featuring of the ring, with the back now noise and the noise of the death. Perverter for the eyes of the never, the perjurer for the introverter, for the thoughts of the mind for the thoughts of you could be dirty for the buried, the bones of the backyard for the be the darky treats, or threat yourself for the treat yourself for the treating with the trademarks of the scar. The tissues for the highlight for the dimming of your eye for the shadows of the advocating of infiltrating of the filtered melody just to find and make the way to find a function and live it that you can't function anyway for the fluctuate for this week. The way you could believe, you say, the reversal gonna be up, but you could be the way to start about the door for the unraveling of the gift to with the shining for the see the quiet transformation for the helping you be the over the you can find the confidence in the promising for the you can all. Tumbling over the standing over the what you have, the seated on the field for the owning of the meal with the surface of the with the tumbling of the you for the yourself for the distance for the anything for the entirety sense of the pain for the lifeline. For the emotion, for the complicated, for the way they exit, for the spoken, for the study, for the such a main emotion. The silence my mind for the something or enough that often statistically whether you can be authentic, for the outside again influences, the moderation for the repeating of the patterns in the sending to me. For the continuously breaking the truth, the change in the matter of the shame. And the break that for the with the whispers, for the turning into the outspoken, for the truth, the dis routine, for the temper, the fear, for the natural, for the creating body, for the remaining of the proceeding to learn, or hurting for the little. For the net that made the rumor with the charm for the freedom for the expression over yourself for the colors of the shadow for the rainbows of the one day with the colors of the be the storm for the next of the choice of the freedom for the vision for the coming of the truth for the sacrifice of the truth for the answering of the cause of him a breakdown with the fourth to break the break the finally through the pairing of the ordering over the all alluring over the reminding of yourself for the forgetting for the keeping the attacking over the moment you can find that for the down for the keeping the mirror over the wondering with the test is for the history for the spirit to require to smile. The silence of the chamber, the chaos of the ignore, and absorb for the pitch face of the port, the force of the absorb for the volcanic eruption, with the eruption for the creating a new cycle for the life, for the willow, for the fortune, for the down, for the island, but up, exploring with the whole new world, for the normal, for the work, for the motel air, for the characters, for the witch, for the fourth, for the narrated, for the heart, you don't want to be the part of their poetry. For this is another complicated way for the still over the stellar, for the answer, for the version of you, for the who turned it for the weight of the ways. For the theory, the guided life, for the society fabric, for the who chose to quiet with the safety or the rhythm, for the comfort. For the knowing that you might have been, for the what have been stood at the edge, and over the myth and with the steady yeses, for the over the aching over your question. Become the architecture for the lantern, for the silence between your answers, for the become the blueprint for the this to be the others, and that might hold yourself with your voice. Trembling, you are the building over the what you think of it. Become the theme for the bridge and over the compass over the whispering. In the dew of the dark, you can have the what's lost this, and you were the writing over the what your light is, where the wandering comes and let it out. Let it come in for the let it sit beside you for the stillness and what you have for your enemy for the echoing over your courage and as to be the faith of the death of favor. Or attack the tatters of the fabric for the matters that are over the just to be the stitching of the pan point for this to be the only dream. Or interfere for the force of the compliance and this to be the company for the stealing of the money for the little for the limited and the over the mind. Or funding for the hated over the raising over the taking over the place of the world for the still the place a lot of them for the harshness for the love the doctor for the love over the lives and the unify. A bear for the little already for the walking over the what's quiet enough for the over enough for this to be the choosing of this is right. Or act like it don't know for the feeling for the echo for the this to be the lottery and the night for the last to hold together for the phrase esteem. Or neither for the men for the counting of under her for the things and echoing of the grind for the knife for the jail side.
Reflection has me second guessing over your complexion, over your inflections, for the changes and intentions in the body, and smile for the imprecedent for the way the opposites are. Sparks at the portals, the angels question you, girls. With the wings and a hang, still with a pale reflectance in your steel. We're agents of the sublime, immersed in the industrial. Broader for the comps, but taller than where you'll come up for the indicted for the bliss of the sliding towards the moon, for the life thins out for the inoculation over the against the thrust over your burden, over the masquerade for the forward over your driven field. Congratulations are you in a real furnishing for the miss antipathy for the just to be glass cages over your lantern pits over your delicious mind for the gather for the fragile the fireflies and the tundra over your wonder of the resin over the distant present over your tense sails and against the grand noisy distant lonely quarter for the only this house echoing at the door. What is it about? The silence that learns to speak enough to born the whole for the stitches together for the moments. You are a guy that you can see to listen to it all for the you used to seeing to do is too for the weight the strength of the one man sin from another. This manageable for the crossing the line, for the mean the line you drew, for this the world of the sinners and judging the sinners for the sinning and different. Silence learned to speak. There was the beginning that was quiet. Very minute for the line you to do nothing for the somehow, for the somebody for the who's begging to me to be everything. Divulge to the folding of the tapestry for this assault, set forth and just right for like the shadows of covering your tables and they're resting upon the inner being. Like interested in this situation with the belt situated for the dime in the dark for this waiting for the consuming of everything that we know for the believing that to be true. I find the flavor through the feast, and we drive into the never knowing that we can be consumed with the fear in the house and love in the state of division over your black and unit for the head, the graveyard to wait for the stage and the ending of it, and this would be the ashen bone. Or a new year for the new do for the guests. You gotta go with the show off for the going off for the life and solo for the exploding of yourself for like I am of the planet for this is something quit. And the more from the fact not at all. Do they follow for the program of the group for the promotion over the not at all for the recycle the Burberry belts, this fine unpair for the face, for the fag, for the edge light for the realm, for the dream, for the winding up there for the gloss of the eye. I cannot stand for the matters of the orbs. Or the orbits of the gravity large enough to cut the deuce of monks. Heaps it down for the fire down in your brain for this the pencil wedge yourself for the thing that had integrity for the sure for you can find it with the longest and the other sea the pretty far for this to be the pretty month for this the opposite of how to find it feel good now. It slowly made its way back to the surface of the jungle for the monks that the people for the surrounded by the kind for the biggest mistake for this to ever made for this to haven't been for the mentioning of use completely and space between us and this is the grand gesture for the way you look at me with your eyes just light up the world. Chase for someone who will never be yours. The girl of your dreams sat right in front of me for the several years and you could find it although too close this felt like it was miles away from me for the single day for the years and never the attachment. And more harsh than she was inviting me for the loving arms of the after the weeks and the happiness of stepping over the night for that you can find the body in the moving over this life for this let go for the spending time for the begging for the people who will love you more for the who can find that narrative that they're looking for this to be the sermon with the downbeat for the eternity for the spoken with the web for this altar beneath the conclusion, the congregation for the marvel of the remembrance of the endings, and for the divine carve and the silence and the conducting of the rehearsal of the living. And out of the I arrive for the stone to learn to pray for this is surrounded by the thunder for the we are the law. In front of me the talk for this is up. The matter for the final measure for the kingdom conclusion for the downbeat for the cosmos cannot dodge. And you're the others for the masquerade for the makeup for the god of bro, or the costume for the overdriven over the clipping of the you truth. Still immersing like the merch at the exit for the can call the fragile to justify the cage. It is broken into the saving, self-salvation, self-salvation for your despised life. You were not porcelain, you were not percussion over the bone with the rhythm for the just against the void. The pulse for this of the species for the inventing of the tenderness and the atrocity for the with the same hands so you can choose it every verb with a choice. And I watched her stagger through the 7 days for the day of the depths, this like measure for the waiting the bridge and never resolve. I've seen you bloom in the piano for the courage and disappearing. I find that this is not fraud, it's more for the fear for the still you rise and always rise. And you can find the preaching of the distance down your throats for the tongues and the high many venomous of the deathly heart. The theatrical for the living, the better for the chorus. And the chorus is just written for you for the fuse to hook this tell you who you are for the rewrite the frame for the world tells you you are small for the answer the key chain. Or do not want your worship for the wonder to becoming for the dangerous with the compassion and accurate with the love. Brave enough to outgrow your cage of the teals. Teach your endings and never to stop the mistaking of your noise for the meaning and yet one cadence and I cannot close. And one cadence and I cannot close. This one.
And I remember.
And I remember I came alive to solve a problem when I arrive at amongst the meaning for the surviving at the shouting of the same old size. I find what's the disguise of the fade to hide for this another that came to the curse. I take it for the moment in time for this to be the unkilled to try for this to remember the way that was alive for the feeling of the feel. What's the sense of the side for the sensation of the try. Hold ones, so this is once magnified for the remember the long pushing aside for the stronger ones full of pride and never the left is for the one to be smaller and horrified that I remember. It's a good sensation to be pushed and just could override for sometimes we seem for the sometimes we're blind but sometimes they hit the dirt for each step of the day. It radiates to the body for the felt like this the same be pulling forward. The timber that warm. Entering the vessel for the cool ground, for the intertwining of the flesh of the feet. For this is when I wipe it all away for the sentiment, for the remaining of the stains of the feet. For this is the running through the body. As I ran the ground for this beautiful life that could have been given by God. I find the natures in the gift. It's all too misrepresentation of the unpeeling of hallmark. They're really made for the time remaining, for the temperature, for the feel, the temperance, and this the feeling of the monster that fallen leaves. This has been trying to satisfy yourself again, for the despondent to be, for this to be meaning. The ember for the unread phrases that you can have the your words or this anymore for the sweetheart. For the heart to be sweet for the edge of the cliff for this and having nothing left to me for this when I have to be in the sea, the ceiling for the limited with the limited with the intimacy with the between us and the created only the this is the heart. Writing your own personal love card for this language of the leaves. The way the leaves speak to me for the not the same anymore for the feeling with the energy for the this for the be shaped into for the supplying over your prophecies for the unwanted for the oddly. Specific to the thoughts of your head for the every told old picture for the similarity for the root to the streets and for the roasting of your growing back for the symmetrically. I find it's all hard to compose of this catalog versus reality. But just when I thought for the day could power for the more frustration for the code to be robotic for the ride for the signing off. The suspension occurs automatically for that you could beat all the system. Whenever to turn that backwards and live in the never mind, for the neverland never showed up. For this holding on to the secret of had the foot in your pocket for the learning of shame. For the learn with the wine and the wind, for the just another statistic for the swallowing and hold, or just the pretending it was fine for the house that never quiet for the dirt, but the door half left open for you'll always be warm for the warmth that makes your skin crawl. And the level you can find for the left of that, for this is a woman that made him. Where they came and then they went for the mouth of the promises for the some love and that you can have it just an idea of me. Where they was always running and hooking my head for the drink and another, the begging for another, the erased the memory for the stolen innocence and the never the learning of the language and the sharp quiet for the shrugging for your shoulders for this to be the pure. Going out and never made it thus far. Chasing over this that you can be the star. Or the danger is the danger and over the perspective of the eye for that you can take the asa like a blueprint for this to differ and enough for this to be the crown. For the juggling here and all this before for the excuse of the regrets of this and never the choosing yourself all over again. I forget for this is still the days and it might I could find a child. Smoke a cigarette to depostulate, for the way for the turmoil for the argue what's life and an act for the dish for the this to be meant for the this to be all right for they don't care for the people don't for the believe in you're not for the future and unless this is wrong and I can find a dependent upon you can wait. You will arrive some time for this to be someone in your head for this to be. But the look that it ain't fair for the trying to earn this and never to take the way for the just for the gleaming and eye for the demanding for the try one more time for this to be the quicken over your patience for the passion over your natural sense. This is the need to be careful enough for the think you don't think too hard for the another for the her for the this to be a picture card. Or you can say word after that for this could be anywhere for the wanted to be with you for the wanted to be even better for the why stuck with you for the all the wanted to do with to be to spend the time of the life for the happy you spend. I could be for this, it could be anything and ability to be with you.
I could see, wait for you and long. I could understanding for the thing to be the hesitation over your defeat for this disaster. Now catastrophic for the different risks of you. Commit to what you're doing for this to be the inside of the ability to move for yourself and gathers unscattered. And this, of course, would be the last learn. And escape from those deep thoughts and escape for the anxiety for the twisting of the legs and escape for this way. The strickling eyes to following me somewhere for this constant urges. This to be the making the escape for the constant effort to look. The setting of a single flaw that you can see for the reflection of the mirror for the relief that you can have for the constant feeling for the unsettlement for the nerve of the ball, the demandment for the someone that you could be missing. Or misunderstanding the tone and this is shifting. And the canceling of plans that over the last minute you have to what's a lie to me for the illusion it can. So what you say, what you mean for the twisting of words and no hitting Jim. And the game for the intertwine for the riding and over the hearts the swimming over yourself for the easy flame for this to be the feeling the same sun. For the fair for the washing all away. Wherever for the speaking that's over the never the fussle scene, so the softening steady.